Vyacheslav Glazkov, who is 13-0, taking on Tor Hamer, 19-1. Heavyweight scheduled for 8 rounds. And backstage live as we get ready for the walkout, let's check in with Chris Mannix.
Thanks, Kenny. Here with trainer Sean Razor. Sean, what do you want to see out of Tor tonight?
I like him to be agile, mobile, which leads to being hostile. That's what I like to see. He can fight Tor Hamer's fight by doing that.
8-round fight. Tor's only fought 8 rounds once in his career in 2010. Are you comfortable with a fight that goes the distance?
Very comfortable. I'm very comfortable with that.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Come on, let's go, let's go.
All right, thanks, Chris. As you look at the 29-year-old New Yorker, he'll be 30 on January 20th. Hamer, as Chris mentioned, has been a very active fighter this year. 3 of those fights happened in one day. It's a short process. It is impressive, though. He won the prize fighter tournament. That was in London in June, and had arguably his biggest win, defeating Kevin Johnson along the way with 3 fights in one day.
Yeah, he did. Kevin Johnson was actually a very recognized heavyweight prospect. He had a close fight, you know, with Vitaly Klitschko. Not a close fight, but a fight that goes the distance is a close fight with Vitaly. And he had a very good showing. And for Tor to go in there and beat him and beat 2 other guys in that same tournament on that same night was a very big statement out of him.
And Hamer, as Freddie mentioned, he has 12 knockouts, all 12 of those coming within the first 2 rounds. If you're preparing for this guy, what are you telling your guy, Freddie?
Warm up in the dressing room. Don't get caught cold.
That's what Hamer has made a great career of so far, hasn't he? He won 12 of his 19 by way of knockout, ending those fights. You heard Chris ask backstage, how do they feel about this fight as it goes on? It's scheduled for 8. Glazkov has much more experience fighting into later rounds, 3 times past 6. He was 10 times, went to round 10 his last time out.
Yeah, Tor's definitely a strong puncher, like Freddie had said earlier, but, you know, he hasn't really fought the level of opposition yet that will indicate how good of a puncher he really is. And tonight, he's got a chance to show us, hey, I'm a real heavyweight prospect, a real heavyweight puncher, because he's got a very good guy in front of him, and Vyacheslav Glazkov, very tough.
Hamer got into the sport relatively late. As a teenager, around 19, he started out in martial arts and then went on to become a boxer. And here he is, Vyacheslav Tsar Glazkov, 13-0, 9 of those wins by way of knockout. The 28-year-old Ukrainian, who was the bronze medalist in the 2008 games in Beijing, now makes his home in New Jersey. He is quite focused, and Freddie, as you know, given most of the European fighters, especially anyone that makes it to the Olympics and wins a medal like he did, they have a ton of experience as an amateur fighter.
Yes, I'm sure he has a lot of experience. Kiev, Russia is just a factory of great fighters, and a lot of good pedigrees come out of that particular area.
And Glazkov fought the first time in the U.S. as an amateur. That was when he won the silver medal at the World Championships in Chicago. That was in 2007. This will be his 2nd pro fight in the U.S. as he won against Brown. That was back in July of 2010. We take a look at the tail of the tape. Brought to you by Fram. And Glazkov, Hamer, very similar all the way around, from the reach, the height, the weight. It is expected to be a great matchup between these 2 promising heavyweights. And we take a look at the rules. No standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. Only the ref or doctor can stop the fight. Fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round, and the fight is official after 4 rounds. Let's go now for the official introduction to ring announcer Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sands Casino Resort here in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, USA. This is a special edition of NBC Fight Night, presented by Main Events and Ziggy Promotions in association with Peltz Boxing. All bouts sanctioned by the Pennsylvania State Athletic Commission. This first contest promoted in association with DeBella Entertainment and Pushka. At ringside, the 3 judges scoring will be Dave Braslow, Tom Miller, and Steve Weisfeld. And inside the ring, in charge of the action at the bell, referee Steve Smoger. And now, let's get this party started. 8 rounds of boxing in the heavyweight division. Fighting out of the blue corner, wearing navy with white. Official weight, 221 pounds. His professional record, 19 victories, including 12 knockouts, only 1 defeat. From New York City, New York, he is Tor, the gentleman boxer Hamer. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner, wearing turquoise, officially weighing 221 1/2 pounds. A perfect professional record consisting of 13 fights, 13 victories, including 9 knockouts. From Lugansk, Ukraine, the undefeated Vyacheslav Glazkov.
Gentlemen, I explain the rules to you in your respective dressing rooms. Please obey my commands, respect the bell, and above all, protect yourself at all times. You understand what I said? Okay, touch gloves, corners. Thank you.
We get ready for the co-main event. Vyacheslav Glazkov, 13-0. He has 7 of his 9 knockouts coming in the first 3 rounds. Tor Hamer, of his 12 knockouts, 7 have been in the first round. This is scheduled to go 8. And we're underway.
I look for Glazkov to come out very early in this first round and look to establish that firm left jab and kind of take control of the pacing and the tempo of this fight.
He said at the fighter meeting yesterday, Freddie, Glazkov wanted to find out just how quick Hamer was because he's well aware of his early knockout ability.
Yeah, he's coming out using that jab, but Hamer's jab is looking pretty good himself.
And especially in a big heavyweight fight like this in the first round, in the first round, there's only 8 rounds in this fight, so they don't have a lot of time. It's very important to get off to an early start.
Don't punch, step, step.
Firing a jab of his own, Glazkov.
Both guys landed good jabs there, Kenny.
Well, in a fight like this, both men know the punching power of the other as they move in close for an exchange.
And Hamer just tried to bring a little right hand underneath. He kind of caught Glazkov with it. Needs to follow up on shots like that if he wants to be nice right hand by Glazkov if he wants to be effective in this first round. Both guys doing good work with the jab so far. Nice upper body movement by Hamer.
Hamer able to slip the punch, and that's one thing that Glazkov's people talking about yesterday, the people have been with him throughout his amateur career, is he said he's not your typical European. He has better head movement. That seems to be the case with the big men. How do they handle, how do they move, Freddie? How can they avoid those punches in close?
Yeah, a lot of the heavyweights from that part of the world just go with more of a passive defense by putting their earmuffs up, keeping their hands really high. He has a little bit more head movement. He's seeing what's happening. He's slipping punches, and he's counter punching after it. He's doing pretty well with that.
It just seems a little more fluid to me, Freddie. But, you know, Hamer's not having a bad round at all. He's done some good work. He's landed a couple good shots to the body and working his jab.
And again, the jab there and the jab to the body.
Yeah, much more patient than I really expected, but having a pretty good round, though.
Yeah, neither fighter has really landed anything too significant. Nice left hook by Glazkov there. As Hamer tried to go down with the right hand downstairs of the body, Glazkov countered nicely with a quick left hook.
Final seconds of round 1. Good feeling out process. Hamer controlling a lot of the action with the jabs here in the first. We'll be back in 30 with round 2. Hamer and Glazkov.
Tommy Miller.
And welcome back to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Tor Hamer. Solid first round against Vyacheslav Glazkov. And we take a look at the action in the first round, B.J. Flores.
Yeah, Hamer tried to come underneath with a nice right hand to the body, and Glazkov countered him with a short left hook. Good first round for both guys. I gave it to Glazkov 10-9. Another good left hook by Glazkov.
Freddie Roach, how did you score that one?
Same, 10-9.
Glazkov trying to pick up the pace a little more here. Hamer was able to do a lot of damage with jabs. Damage only in the sense of keeping the punching Glazkov away from it.
Yeah, he did. Glazkov wasn't able to come in and dictate the pace and tempo like he would have liked to have, but in the second round already, Glazkov has landed 2 or 3 solid left hooks and looks to have gotten the attention of Hamer.
Well, at this moment, he's following the game plan that he told us yesterday. That is, I'm going to look at the first round, I'll get a good feel, and then I'm going to pick up my action in the second round.
Yeah, it was funny. He said, I'm going to feel him out, and then I'm going to attack, and that's the type of Russian-Ukrainian mentality he has, and we see that here in the second round, Ken.
That was a nice shot to the body by Glazkov. Let's check in with Chris Mannix.
Guys, boxers are not known for their scholastic achievement, but in the ring today, we have 2 fighters with bachelor's degrees on their resumes. Tor Hamer graduated from Penn State with a degree in business. He has an eye on a career in urban planning when his career is over. Tsar Glazkov has a degree from a university in the Ukraine in what he says is a type of criminology. He told me if he wasn't boxing, he would be a police officer.
And they are learning a lot about each other right now in the sweet science as they have nice exchange of punches between Glazkov and Hamer.
Glazkov landed a nice short right hand. Hamer came back with a nice little digging right uppercut to the body. Both guys are starting to feel more comfortable in there, and punches are really starting to fly now.
What are you noticing about this fight now, Freddie?
All action. Both guys going at it. Great counter punching from the Ukrainian. He's got that good. His timing with that left hook is just really, really nice. And our man Hamer, if he throws that right hand in the body, he's going to get caught.
Glazkov looking much more comfortable here. Hamer fires that jab in there again.
And like Freddie said, you know, Glazkov's countered really nicely with that left hook. Hamer's got to be careful. He's got to switch the tempo of his punches a little bit, taunt him and feint his guy so he can't time him quite so easily. I think another thing that Hamer is doing is giving Glazkov too much space to operate. Glazkov is he's got that big, extensive amateur career. He's got that experience. With a guy like that, sometimes you got to get in close in the phone booth and make him fight.
Well, at least they've been in the same area code in this round. And Glazkov picking up his own pace here in round 2.
Another good round for Glazkov.
Hamer starting strong. Glazkov improving. They packed the event center here at Bethlehem, Pennsylvania for live boxing today. We move on to the third round. Tor Hamer and Tsar Glazkov. Hamer controlling the early part of the fight. Glazkov picking up the pace in the second round. And Tor with his name on his trunks trying to continue to establish himself in the heavyweight ranks in America at 19-1. Glazkov moving to the U.S. now, relocating from the Ukraine to New Jersey, wanting to establish himself here in the U.S. You see the power punches in round 2. 2 more landed by Glazkov. Freddie Roach, how did you score the last round?
I had Glazkov winning by a little bit, so I gave him both rounds.
BJ?
Yeah, I had it the same, you know, based on the strength of his left hooks, more clean, effective punching. I gave it to him. Nice short right hand on the inside right there by Glazkov.
One of Glazkov's best punches there. He slid that right in. Let's get more from Glazkov's corner and go to Chris.
Guys, Glazkov's corner was begging him to be more aggressive after that last round. They're calling for the double jab, straight right hand. Throw more punches, they said. Don't try to knock him out with just one punch.
Thanks, Chris. Edward Minchikov has been with him throughout his amateur career from the Ukraine, coming over to New Jersey where they've located now. But Don Turner, who also worked with, among others, Evander Holyfield, has been working in the corner for the last 3.5 weeks, and he's impressed with the speed that Glazkov has. He thought that maybe it might be a little deceptive, that people did not expect a European heavyweight with only 13 pro fights to have the poise that Glazkov has. We're seeing it here, Freddie.
Yes, we are. He's very good, and I see him picking up the pace a little bit. He's counter-punching a lot smoother, and you can see the inexperience of Hamer at this point.
Nice jab by Glazkov there. Still looking to set up those big punches.
And a good right by Glazkov. Glazkov working in close with some effective punches, BJ.
Yeah, just Kenny seems like he's getting closer and closer with every passing second of the fight. You know, Hamer landed a good left hook about a minute ago, but since then, Glazkov has hit him with a couple good jabs, a couple solid shots, and you feel like it's only a matter of time before Glazkov catches him with something big. With that being said, Hamer still very much in this fight is doing some good work himself. He's just falling a little short. You see Glazkov again continuing to counter that Hamer jab with his own left hook, and he's been successful with that so far in the first 3 rounds.
Biggest thing, it seems, that Glazkov now not having the fight dictated the way it was early on by Tor Hamer as we approach the end of round 3.
At GoDaddy, we believe in many kinds of sexy. Cassandra represents one of them. But allow yourself to see the sexy in Judd. Judd got a mobile website from GoDaddy. Now customers can click to call right from their phones. Is being summoned to every infested crawl space in town sexy? We think so. Embrace Judd Sexy. Get your domain and website at GoDaddy.com.
This was 4 years ago. Vyacheslav Glazkov fighting for Ukraine in the 2008 Beijing Olympics and making it all the way to the semifinals. But there he lost in a walkover because of an elbow injury, and he won the bronze medal. And BJ, you know from your great amateur career as well before turning pro, it's been very strong, the Ukrainian influence now in boxing, especially in recent years.
Yeah, they're very good. Vasyl Lomachenko is a gold medalist. Alexander Usyk, another heavyweight. But Ukraine has the tradition of consistently producing good upperweight guys, and Glazkov definitely fits the mold as far as what Ukraine normally produces.
And back to action live here in round 4.
And you saw on the Olympic podium up there with Glazkov on the gold medal stand was David Price, a very good heavyweight prospect from Great Britain. And Glazkov also has an amateur victory over David Price a few years ago.
Compare that to Tor Hamer, who started about 19 as a boxer. He was a good athlete. He adapted quickly, won some Golden Glove tournaments, won the national tournament, turned pro, and has been a very active pro this year. As we talked about earlier, his 7th pro fight of the year. Granted, 3 of those were 3-round fights in one day when he was in the prize fight tournament in London. But, and he talked about it at the meeting yesterday when we were all sitting around talking to him. He realizes he's approaching 30. He wants to make a statement victory.
It's still a very, big tournament that he won. He did very well and gave him a lot of confidence. But now we're seeing, heading into the latter parts of this fight, the experience of Glazkov starting to come on a little bit, and Glazkov continuing to get stronger as the rounds go on.
Good left hook. It was a nice left one. The crowd responds. Let's check into Hamer's corner with Chris.
Sean, how do you feel about what you're seeing out there?
Well, he's doing good the first couple of rounds. He was taking away the jab. I wanted to back him up now. But, he looked like he's trying to figure the guy out. He needs to work a little bit more to the body and then continue to back him up. I think he's doing good.
Thanks, Sean.
Close to a low blow. That was on the borderline, wasn't it, Freddie?
Very close.
But it's a good idea for Glazkov to work the body of Hamer. He can't just focus on the head. Hamer knows Glazkov's got some decent power now, so if he'll work in the head, good shots by Glazkov, up and down, he'll have a better chance of ending this fight early.
Hooks with that left, some comes back with the right. And Glazkov has been able to control the pace much more, as we even heard his own corner admit that Tor's ability to dictate the way the fight's going has not been very effective here, and that witnessed by the fact he takes 2 good punches again.
Yeah, there's no way we can dispute that. The Glazkov jab and the Glazkov hook is starting to take control of this fight, and you see him, like I said in the last round, he's getting closer and closer to landing those big shots, and in this round we've seen more evidence of that.
His experience is really starting to show.
Glazkov with all that experience as an amateur fighter, well over 200 fights in his amateur career. And now 13-0 as a pro. And here in round 4, Again, a strong Glazkov showing. And welcome back live. This fight has been stopped. Vyacheslav Glazkov goes to 14-0. Tor Hamer cannot answer the bell to start the round. Hamer still over in his corner, talking with Sean Razor, his longtime trainer. And Steve Smoger, the referee, went over between rounds to check and to double check. And we did overhear Hamer saying, "I'm sorry." That's all we could pick up for sure. But he did not answer the bell to start the round, and Vyacheslav Glazkov remains undefeated.
When I saw him walking over to the corner, he was shaking his head, no, no. He sat down in the corner and said, no, no. That's never a good sign going into the 5th round for a fighter. And he was just broken down by a, much more experienced Glazkov tonight.
Definitely, he was just taking, he was starting to get to him, like we said in the round before. He just, he was a little bit over his head a little bit.
TKO end of 4.
They'd made it over halfway through this scheduled 8-rounder through 4. But Hamer not able to answer the bell. And Glazkov, who said what he was going to do and did it almost exactly that way. I want to feel him out in the 1st round. I know he has big knockout power. And then I'm going to start taking over the fight. And that's what happened almost exactly the way he said it was going to yesterday, BJ.
He did. He really showed that amateur experience, Kenny. He showed, it's an 8-round fight. I don't have to go out there guns a-blazing in the 1st round. He set the tempo with the jab, close 1st round, mediocre 2nd round. The 3rd and 4th rounds, he really came on down the stretch, landed some nice body shots, and eventually closed the show, although it seemed a bit premature. But that was the decision of Tor Hamer.
Let's go back to Michael Buffer to get the official time and reaction here in a few moments. Michael.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Steve Smoger calls a halt to this bout after being advised by the blue corner that Tor Hamer is unable to continue. The winner by TKO victory. Officially at the end of round 4, he is the Tsar, Vyacheslav Glazkov.
Still unbeaten, Vyacheslav Glazkov, who has now relocated from Ukraine to New Jersey. He is hoping to establish himself in the U.S. And he does here, defeating Tor Hamer, who had tasted defeat only one other time in 20 fights coming in. And here's the way the fight progressed. Early on, Hamer, and then Freddie Glazkov begins to take over. And let's look at that last round, the 4th round in Glazkov.
Yeah, that uppercut really started it. He seemed like, I think you heard him a little bit with that shot, and those big shots, heavy-handed guy, and I think he was just in over his head a little bit, and too much experience, to be honest with you.
And you can see him shaking his head as he was talking to his corner. And that was all. A TKO victory. It is officially listed for Glazkov at the end of 4 rounds.
And just like Freddie said, Hamer was in a little over his head. This guy's got a tremendous amateur pedigree. He's fought the best amateurs in the world who are now going on to big and successful pro careers. And that showed tonight.
Let's go to Chris with the winner.
Tsar, congratulations. Are you surprised that he didn't come out for the 5th round?
Поздравляем тебя. У тебя есть какие-то сомнения, что дошло до 5-го, что он не вышел в 5-й раунд?
Ну, сомнений, в принципе, никаких. У меня запланировано был ход поединка так. В принципе, первые раунды разведал. И потом уже более мощные удары наносил. И в конечном итоге соперник почувствовал, что в следующих раундах может не достоять. Поэтому, может быть, поберег свое здоровье и не вышел в ринг.
Everything I did what I planned to do. I just tested him in the 1st round, and then I just went on to him. And I think my opponent find out he's not going to get any better in the next rounds, and they just stop the fight.
Thanks, Tsar.
Thank you.
Kenny?
All right, thank you, Chris. As you look at Glazkov once more, 14-0. That is a TKO victory, so now he has 10 wins coming by way of knockout. And we take a look at the total power punches, and they sort of leap out, don't they, Freddie? Glazkov landing 51-29, much more the active fighter, particularly after that first round.
Yeah, he's much more active and much more accurate with the shots also. And, you know, that amateur experience really helped out a lot for this fight. And, you know, Hamer fought a pretty good fight, though, for the experience that he does have, and, you know, the lack of amateur experience he has. He did okay. You know, he gets back in the gym. I think he might have a little bit of a future.
Hamer's we see with the total jabs, he looked good in the early going by establishing the tempo using that jab.
You know, he did, but one thing that Freddie said that, you know, if Hamer gets back to the gym, he might have a career. In my opinion, a guy who quits on the stool like that, it's tough for me to say, you know what, go back to the drawing board. It just, maybe his heart isn't completely in it, and that's tough for another fighter to see another fighter quit on the stool. He was still doing all right in the fight. He wasn't out of it yet, so it's tough for me to see that.
Vyacheslav Glazkov landing 20 more punches than did Tor Hamer in there, even though Hamer threw more. Very efficient use, hitting 40% when you connect that much.
Yeah, great percentage of connection, and, you know, the guy's in a tough night. He was getting beat up in there, taking some shots. Will he have a future? We'll see.
Vyacheslav Glazkov, he's told us through his interpreter yesterday, I'm here to make a statement. I want American fighter fans to know more about me. They learned tonight. Tor Hamer was 19-1, but he couldn't answer the bell for the 5th round. It's a TKO victory for Glazkov now to go 14-0. Impressive night for Glazkov. And coming up, we'll take a look at a former